I think it began with my having grown up in England and living in houses that were really smaller than we live in this country, but also being inspired by some of the houses of my friends, one of whom was an architect. And I got to see what space could do, that you could live in a house that was much more inspiring, even if it's not very big. So when I moved to California, I was 14 years old. I moved to the suburbs of Los Angeles. This was 1971. And I was in an area that was very wealthy. My parents had moved because of the schools, and so I got to see really the beginnings of the McMansion movement. I got to see around the hills that were surrounding my parents' house, these bigger and bigger and bigger houses marching across the hillsides. And something in me was just aware that there was a better way. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I began to, even in my teenage writing style, just begin to comment on, well, why are we doing things this way? Why do people want more and more space in square footage when what they're really looking for is this sense of home? So it's been with me for a very long time. And it seemed very strange to me. And so it started a kind of pondering of how is it that Americans live and how can we do this differently? So it moved me into a career in architecture, and I wanted to design houses that inspired people spatially. That's always been my desire. That's really what inspired me, and I knew had the ability to inspire others. The words "not so big" actually came out of my pen when I was beginning to write my first book. And Taunton Press, my publisher, had asked me to write a book called The Small House Book as a precursor to the book I really wanted to write, which is now called Home by Design. And so I began writing, and I knew The Small House Book wasn't the right name. And so I just began writing, and the last paragraph I wrote, in fact, this shouldn't be called The Small House Book, it should be The Not So Big House. And I thought, that's it. It just came right out of my pen. It was one of those moments where you go, wow, there's a brand.
For more information on Sarah Susanka and her books, the Not So Big House series, visit my website, expertrealestatetips.net.